Yes.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait.
Oh, it's a yes man.
Is that the yes man?
Is he very far away?
He sounds... Yes man, are you trapped at the bottom of a well?
Save the yes man.
Yes man, are you at the bottom of a well?
Oh, you're very close now, yes man.
Oh my god. You got out of the well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
he's like it's right. He's like it's right in my ear.
The Yes Man, do you remember all the way back to the very first episodes here in this studio?
Yeah.
Yeah. What year was your first year? 2009.
Yeah.
It was 2009.
It was. Okay,
10 years.
It was a good save.
10
Good save.
years ago.
Are you gonna follow our adventures over at the new studio?
Yes.
Oh man.
I don't.
Did you have fun with the game? Did you play along with the game?
Anyway. I just came myself. I like the game so much.
That game. I was a little unsure about that game, but I'm glad it went over well.
Oh no, it was good. It was good.
I've watched a lot of I watch a lot of game shows. I apparently have a lineage of game shows, and so. Or sorry, not match game. What did I fucking call it?
Activity.
Connection Activity 19.
Yeah, I think once we all got it,
Yeah.
I think the addition of a timer, something like
Yeah.
that was the only bummer is that
I have an idea
Ooh.
that we could do where you might need some chat bot,
Mhm.
but if we could all write down our things, everybody sees the prompt, right? And then basically everybody in the chat all says their thing, and whatever the most common thing
is the one.
So-
that
so it's like
That's
we're
clever.
all playing with the chat.
Yes, the chat is always answering the thing, but it's like chaos, a bunch of random shit, a bunch of jokes or whatever. But then it will always surface maybe the first thing that gets 5 mentions or whatever.
Interesting.
Some kind of hive consciousness. The Buck _ says Bonnie never quite got it. I think she had it and then she would forget it. Like
Yeah, I think she forgot it. I don't
like
think
she
it
would
was-
have it and then forget that it's not actually a game of being correct.
Also, no, the Bonnie that is on the show did exactly what the Bonnie that is on this show does.
Yeah.
Like if you don't get the fact that Bonnie is going to just wander aimlessly on some of this stuff, then you don't understand and love this show. Like, that's the part of our DNA.
No, you're 100% correct. You are.
I felt bad. We were in the first segment of the show, and I watched Bonnie just drawing on the paper, and I had to stop. I was like, "Hey, you need a lot of paper for this. Please don't draw on my paper." That's why she had the rocket ship. and some of the other-
That's why
houses.
she had the
cum ship.
penis palace.
Oh,
Oh man.
yeah. Oh, it was great. It was great having Meryl Barr on or not Meryl, Jack Allison on. Because Meryl Barr was mentioning it, because we had Meryl on.
It was
Cord
great having
Killers.
Meryl on Cord Killers.
On Cord
too.
Killers, yes.
Yes.
Because we had Meryl Barr on a couple of times recently, and the first time he was talking about the WGA thing.
Yeah.
And every time I see
Still,
news about
still
it,
not clear to me.
it's
Like all of this is still not clear.
it's
to me.
very businessy.
Like I don't this is me. This is my tunnel vision as a independent entrepreneur. Is I'm like, why are y'all using them anyway? Just why are you being a union? Why don't you just have a script and sell a script and do your thing? But I understand that
there are many
it's
intricate
such-
systems existing already.
right. Well, and I know that there's an entire cluster of writers that do nothing but write spec scripts that never see the light of day. But for just based on the options, because of the existing structure, they're able to make livings. Knowing that at some point maybe they'll have a home run.
Yeah,
So-
every time we've had a story about it on Cord Killers, I've always been like, we should have Jack on, because Jack is very deep
Very
in it.
passionate.
Very deep.
Oh man, the whole world. By the way, Meryl Barr went in hard on Undone, saying
watch
that
it yet?
it's no, I haven't, but I've seen the Twitter buzz, and everyone's like, well, I meant to watch the first 15 minutes, and there went Saturday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's good.
The way that I best understand the thing, and the one thing that I would clarify from what Jack said, is that when he talks about packaging, it's the agency saying all these people are our clients. So it's like we have a writer, we have a director, we have a star. So if we go to the studio with the right writer, director, and star, then we can say, hey, take this package of people, and for the price for that of them bringing them the right package of people is that the agencies get
A bonus.
a cut of that, a bonus, right? And that's
It
something
can
that
be
is-
very high, and it is cause some people because they don't want to break up the packages. So it will mean sometimes something that's half sold will be not sold because they want the whole thing.
Yeah, and so that's the agencies, as agencies do, got greedy and they pushed it harder than they probably should have, and then they only wanted to sell packaged stuff. They wouldn't sell unpackaged stuff, and that's what this fight is about. And you know, because Hollywood is an access town, the reason why, like in Brian's mind, he's like, I don't know, write the great American script, and you walk into Mr. Hollywood and you say, hey, Mr. Hollywood, buy my script for $500. And he's like, well, I don't know. Let me read it. You're truly the greatest screenwriter of a generation. Here's $1 million. And you're like, wow, look at that. Because
And then I turn to the camera and I say, see, Meryl Barr, it's easy.
and he bites this $1 million coin to make sure it's real and then walks off.
He's got the gel in it like a challenge coin. Hey, let's take a look at some show titles at netattack.showbot.tv.
The real spare bedroom was the friends we made along the way.
Don't Cry for Me, BB Live Show. Just a Taint Away. Bye Bye Studios. Bride's Daughters Are Free from Hearing Night Attack. That's a Connection. Second Most Likely to Manscape.
Canada, do they have RAM there? That's not how kills work.
That was one. So on the list, on the doc, before if I could.
Oh my god!
On the doc, we had a form for like, hey, you know how match game works. You have 2 rounds. The first round is very open, and the second round, there's like kind of a right answer.
Yeah.
And so we had a whole form like, is there a right answer for this one? Because sometimes you know, that I thought was one of the most straightforward ones. It was very. It's always very funny.
Oh, for the zoo.
Ram,
the zoo is
or,
the obvious joke answer.
or the
Right.
wilderness, or
Yeah.
yeah.
I did.
Canada's very good. That's
Justin and I totally had the same instinct when I wrote down an award-winning political podcast host. Justin had the exact same gun, just aimed at Bryce.
And you know what? I was gonna write Justin too. I thought, oh, that could be Justin or Sneakers. Sneakers was the other.
Sneakers would have been good.
So we get some more titles here. That's Not How Gills Work. When Bryce formed Dicktron. Canada, do they ram there? The Last, the one behind Principal Elizabeth. I'm gonna click
That's
that
a
one.
pretty good one. I love that one.
I had considered Dick Length. They have Paul Newman's Come. 1-800 I'm Old and Weird. Don't Tell Me What to Do, Nerd. That was a funny one. Legally Distinct Game Show. Come Amount.
so many.
When Bryce Cried on My Pussy.
Man, nobody in the chat nor on the show. I couldn't believe I pulled out that CNET joke. I started that.
Look, it was fucking brilliant, but it was like so like you pulled out this fully formed like hee-haw like laughing fucking like so on brand gag, but it just came like out of fucking nowhere, and there was just no space for it, but it was brilliant.
I didn't realize it was going to end up being a real joke, and then I landed it, and I'm like, I fucking landed it. Like, I did a double backflip, and then everyone was like, okay, I guess you've been practicing that. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I've never tried that before.
No, that was just a timing thing. It was one of those things where you're like, oh, like it was like a hee-haw thing, and we're like, you're right, it was like a hee-haw thing, and everyone else is gearing up, and then you did a fucking brilliant hee-haw joke, and we're like, I thought we were. Oh, that's a great joke.
No, that was a case where I definitely had my foot on the gas and I didn't know how to drive and I somehow didn't crash. And everyone was just happy that I was safe. They couldn't be amazed at the time.
Oh man, this week in measuring Voltron's come
Nice.
Celebrity D's knees, Voltron Comsicles, 8 never quite equals D. I was so glad when Jack brought out the 8 equals D unaware.
Yeah.
I was
Had to
so
be.
pumped that we got to shout out the Bancroft thing. But yeah, I fucking really, I almost was thinking about whether or not I'd be able to get out to New York City, because it's very rare that I could say, oh, I'm gonna go visit my friend on Broadway. Like that would be a rare occasion. But that's fucking amazing.
That's great. I had no idea. And Mitzel's got my favorite point, how everyone no sold the fucking how dumb is he bit.
Oh yeah.
That was everyone telepathically was just like,
In fact, I'm nominating that for the title. Everyone knows sold. How dumb is he? When Bryce said it.
Bryce was just like, it was so dumb. Very, very dumb.
Very dumb, guys.
Super dumb.
really dumb.
All right, so anyway.
No, I want to go back in here because I thought I kind of thought I was playing. I thought I played that well.
It did. It was fine. It was.
Yeah,
It was not awkward.
No. You absolutely did, and I remember at the time, like you said it, but it was just like in such a refractory period of like all the insanity about the like writing and everything, and also I'm like listening to you. I'm trying to like think of the next joke because you're like telling me this like prompt. And I was just not in the headspace to yell, how dumb is he?
Oh, yeah. Soft Fade 1997 Nora Jones. Super Nasty Drama. This episode is brought to you by the mattress, Casper Mattresses. My nuts are pretty close to the ass.
Fox News alert. Bryce considered dick length.
A very good bit. I'll give you a thumbs up on a very good bit.
Thank you.
All right, let's look at the top ones here. The real spare bedroom was the friends we made along the way is pretty good.
Yeah. That might.
That's our Sarah McLachlan. Thank you for the memories.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah, you feeling that?
Yeah. No, I can go for that.
All right, thank you, SpiderBite0, and everyone who submits submits episode titles with a bang us command in the chat room. I'm gonna go right email.
Goddamn, dude. This is end of an era.
What is going on? Here, I'm gonna go refill beverages.
Any chance you can wait about 2 minutes?
Sure.
So I can get this email out, and then I'll keep it warm with Justin.
Dun dun dun.
What's going on?
Thinking about man. Now that we're over the hump on this, I'm already thinking about the fact that I guess tomorrow I got to take the kid to school and then immediately rush back and meet the movers, and I'll point them to some of the big stuff, and then I run up here. I'm gonna start just disassembling a bunch of stuff because we're gonna take the big BB flats, and oh, you know what? There's more of those out in the garage. We should.
Ooh. Bring them.
I can't imagine why we would need those here at this house.
No,
right?
yeah, take them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll take all the. Oh, I'm so glad.
In fact, at least one of those is probably the one that had been taken off of here.
Yes.
Because this was the trek
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
And one of the weird things that we're gonna have to do is there's a big ass couch that's so big they had to remove the door to put it into the property, and now they're gonna have to remove the door to take it out of the property, and then remove the door on the other side of the property to put it back in to get it into the studio. So there'll be a big ass couch in the which with a fold out bed in there. So there'll be, I believe, a 5th crash
Place
pad
to sleep in case of an emergency.
Yeah. So when there'll be some time that there'll be so many people here, it'll be a flop house. But that'll
Yeah.
be a fold-out couch in the studio, 3 bedrooms with mattresses, and then the green room should have a cozy enough couch to crash on. So that'll be 5 spots.
Dude, that shit is fucking wild. That shit is awesome.
Yeah.
And so that happens when? When does that commence?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, huh?
All of that, yeah. And I guess now I think about it, I mean, once we have air conditioning down in the sound stage, we could probably throw some more earbeds down there. I mean, we could keep a small army on
The
campus.
value of a property is not based on how many beds you put
Well,
in it.
no,
though.
but
Yeah.
specifically, like, one of the things we want to do is, we've talked about doing like big gathering events and classes. or
Sure,
whatever.
yeah, but that is an event that will be serviced by the content that's created in the studio, right? Like
Correct.
Creating the studio that makes the content that makes people want to come to do the big gathering events. Like that is the step in between, right?
Yeah. Man.
So what about the studio, Brian? Is what I'm saying. Everything's going in and
Oh, I mean,
you
the answer is I don't know. Studio's going to have to be like, again, everything's going to be functionality. Everything will be rough around the edges at first, and then we'll figure out kind of the aesthetic that we want to go with. And I do agree with you. I think we should put a big old a gimbal. Is that what it's called? The camera on the thing that spins around.
what is that?
I think that was a jib.
Jib? A jib.
Is that a jib?
Jib,
The
yeah.
thing about, I mean, they probably don't use it because you need someone to operate it, and those shows are so long.
Yeah. But man,
But you don't use it all the time. You use it when you need it. You do it like either for like an intro or like, if you're doing your, knockoff MTV Unplugged shit.
yeah, man, I'm excited about bringing back the summer music series.
Yeah, man, that was, because initially for like a run there, we were getting, some of the bands that we're still super close with, like Allie Gertz, I think it was back when she was still called her old name, which
Oh.
is now a dead name.
Her dead name?
But Double Clicks and Turquoise Jeep and Get Set Go and
Dual
really
Core.
the pitch to them, as soon as we did, I forget who the first one was, but as soon as we did them, the pitch was like, I would just email them cold and say like, hey, we'd love to have you, we love your music, we'd love to have you here.
Look at these other people who did it, and then it's like, whoa, awesome footage. I would like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Would you like to come and play our show and have fucking like broadcast quality footage that you can put on your website forever? Where we're not going to joke around. It's literally just beautifully shot footage of you fucking doing your shit.
Captain Fubar is like, wait, Gertz changed her name? No. She goes by her actual name, Allie Gertz. She used to go by Cosby Sweater. And then, hoo boy, did the context of that change.
And before that, it was Epstein overalls. Which is
The
not-
Epstein overalls.
Not really.
Yeah, which was a reference to High Fidelity, right? Like the Jack Black line in High Fidelity. So it was like already one level removed of like, oh, I like Bill Cosby, but then, there's nothing cuts through irony. Like,
Yeah.
Did you get a drink?
horrible.
Yeah.
Or did you know?
Are we all good?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, man. Time Jumper in the chat.
Hey, TJ.
Good to see you.
Yeah, boy.
What's up, Juice?
Are you ready to assemble this shit?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be doing that probably on Thursday because Wednesday is a big edit day for me for Scam Nation. So the movers will be getting stuff in there and just throwing it in the big studio. So I'll be spending Thursday doing that. I'm gonna set up a little time lapse to try to capture it. Badwee says remember to label all the cables, but because we're redoing the audio setup. And because the computer equipment is pretty standard, I don't think there's too much that needs to be labeled.
All right, so for all the nerds, what are you changing? What will be different in the new? Because you are redoing the audio
Right.
in your image. What is this going to be compared to what it was?
So right now, everything kind of feeds back into itself.
Yeah.
So everything goes into a physical board, but the output of that board goes into the board, which is why we have the name chant echo sound. Because we can make it feed back into itself. So ideally, this will be some sort of virtual bus system where we'll have all of the physical mics in studio going through a physical board and then into a single channel on a virtual board, and then things like Skype, things like vMix, music like Winamp, going into their own digital channels, and then outputting that in a way to our encoder machine so that we can, because the nice thing about that means that if we have Skype, say, we can make a version of that signal that doesn't have the person who is on Skype. So we can send Skype a cleaner signal. We can use that with Discord. We can use that with vMix's vMix call. We do have to look. I want to see about if we want to run all the audio through vMix for some reason, because we would like to use vMix call, and I think that's a possibility. But I don't know if we need to do. I think that would be a little more complicated. So anyway, we're basically
these are the things you are going to experiment with on Thursday.
Right, and so it'll be like OpenBias said, it'll be voice meter based. They have a new voice meter version called Voice Meter Potato, which has even more digital channels. And so we're gonna see. I think. Fingers crossed that fixes everything, or not fixes everything, but gets it in a nice clean spot where we can still have the physical board in some capacity, because this is a good board and it's got nice sliders and it's good to have the physical connection, but a digital element we can use to make it a little more sophisticated.
Now I have no part in setting this up, but I will say with confidence to Nick with a C, do you have any test streams planned? Yes,
there will be.
And it's ready, and there is no timetable on when it will be ready. It will be ready as soon as it is ready, which I put no pressure on Bryce with this, because like reassembling something that is very particular, like that setup is something that hopefully, especially because you're redoing it, goes faster. But
hopefully,
you never know.
So like Ibo Robotosis says a Friday stream is on. I'll definitely try to keep the Friday slot doing something. That might be the day we do the test stream. But also we're not shooting Modern Rogue this weekend, so the weekend is open. And so there might be some stuff there too. So just keep an eye out. Have your notifications turned on here at Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, just understand for Bryce that, like, aside from editing this shit that was already shot, like, this is the
thing I got to do between now and Monday.
And by the way, it's like before, like when you're editing shit, that's like stuff that has a deadline. But like, if the deadline is missed, it's not like there's a bunch of people immediately on top of you. Like, this shit needs to be broadcast functional by Monday.
Right.
So. Just be aware of that. Do nothing but compliment Bryce. In fact, until next week, there should be no communication with Bryce that isn't compliments.
Start all your tweets with thank you.
I mean, look, if you want to talk real talk about fucking work in that studio, 90% of the rage that has ever happened on a live stream has been either set up or ignited by tech failure, or by tech not working, or by the stress that comes along with setting up and operating tech.
Yeah. But hopefully, new space, new energy, new mood, big new mood. Brian?
Well, like that really hasn't been a part of the show for a long time.
Yeah.
Because, when Brian isn't running the board, when I'm not in my room and I have my own studio that I know how to operate, like a lot of that tech failure goes away. And so that hasn't been a part of the show in a very long time. But, tearing down, resetting up the studio.
Yeah.
This is where if it is going to pop back up, this is where it pops up.
Like we were having some hiccups in Cord Killers yesterday, if anybody watches the VOD instead of the podcast. And that was the first time we had a show-stopping thing in a while.
In a long time.
In a
I
long
mean,
time.
it's very
and that was
rare.
all that was network connectivity issues, which I think we nailed just by restarting the router today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I spent like an hour today trying to. I don't know if the tech is just out of date for it. Like the Sonos is set up throughout in the place, but there's currently like a hard wire going from one of the bathrooms into the green rooms. And I've got this Zone Bridge thing, but it's from like 2004 or whatever. And it just, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's just.
No. You don't need the bridges anymore.
I know, but okay, you have to have at least one thing hooked up to, or maybe I don't. Maybe I could just.
No. Now you just need the units. The units connect to each other.
Well, okay, but something, at least one device has to be plugged in to a router, right?
Don't they all connect?
They connect to each other on their own private Wi-Fi mesh network. But there's in every setup I've always had, there's been at least one of them that's been hardwired into the router.
Hardwired in.
Correct.
Number
So,
one,
like, you can't- I don't think you can
I'm with you. The Sonos app told me, get rid of your bridge, and I didn't. So all I know is that it told me to get rid of my bridge, and I haven't, and mine still works.
Yes. Well, so my bridge is not connected, but one of my units is hardwired into the router, and everything works. But what I want is to not have a wire running out of the bathroom into the green room.
So
And so,
this from 5 months ago, someone asking if I need a bridge.
correct.
The top answer is saying you don't need a bridge, as the Sonos devices will likely set up and run on their own on the Wi-Fi router signal, but the bridge creates a Sonos Net wireless network for your devices and runs exclusively on that signal. So I guess
Okay,
it's a
C4
better
Crawford
connection.
has the answer I was hoping to see. Sonos now supports a Wi-Fi only
I
setup.
think I just said that. Yeah.
Nick with the C, Sonos isn't perfect. It's pretty great though for what it is.
Yeah, they've had such a weird run. Like they really kind of define themselves as like this generation's Bose, where it's like affordable, good sound that works on a level that like a higher end, more expensive speaker system is obviously more complicated and more expensive. But then they just kind of, I think everybody got taken by surprise when the smart speakers and the assistants came, and you're like, oh no, I don't just want to buy a speaker to hear things. I need to be my best friend and tell me the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick with the C and Beef Viper are both giving versions of, well, just use headphones or just use Bluetooth. I'll tell you what, man, there's something magical about pressing one button and every room in your house suddenly popping up with jams.
Loading with music.
Yeah, and not that like any one part is blasting out, but instead just everything's got that groove wherever you walk around.
Oh yeah, no, I love
Indoors,
it.
outdoors.
Like even in our tiny little apartment, we'll have like enough where the it's blasting in the living room where a bunch of people are talking and having a good time, and then I just have like a little softer version of the same song at the same time playing in the kitchen. So when I go like get drinks for people, it's like, oh my god, just part of my own little private party.
I like the AirPods for that. All right, not that yours is a bad way or anything, but like,
Oh, sure.
I because I used to have the Beats X, the wraparound necklace,
Yeah.
wireless buttons, but something about just being able to open the thing and pop them in my ears and they're on, and they can cook into the thing or I can do the Siri whatever. That's been really nice because like if I'm cooking, it can get kind of loud. If I got the dishwasher on, it's hard to hear the TV. They're cool little things. I'll even use them sometimes. I have like a Bluetooth aux connection in my car, and something's up with it, so sometimes it doesn't come in stereo, so I'll just turn it off and pop in the AirPods and listen like that.
I even when I had a car, I never listened to the radio. I would always listen to podcasts on your phones.
Sure.
Which is probably, I think it is illegal. I think you definitely can't listen to
it depends. I think it depends on the state.
Yeah, and plus also like nowadays it's easy enough to say like, hey man, it's so loud that I worry about damaging my hearing, so I'm just using the noise canceling aspect of this to reduce the damage to my ears.
Yeah. Waffle gets into by saying it's illegal, but I've driven by cops and it's been fine.
I mean, again, I started this by saying it's probably illegal, and fucking come get me, pigs.
Yeah, I can't even imagine somebody with a straight face letting you have it where the number one, more dangerous than drunk driving is, using a handheld device while driving. And it's this is my effort to not do that.
I once got a ticket in standstill traffic, waiting for, it would be like 30 minutes to get on a highway, but I was like looking at my phone while in standstill traffic, and I got a fucking ticket from a cop who was just looking to see anybody using their phone while they were waiting to get on the highway.
Gotta get hands free. Don't know what to tell you. You broke the law. Go to jail.
Hey, so I introduced my daughter to a new podcast, and she's really digging it. And I think it'll be our new jam on the way to school every day.
It's called Night Attack.
Harmontown?
What's that?
Harmontown?
No, yeah, I have played. I have played bits and pieces, especially some of their better role-playing bits around like the Gary Shambling era. like I'm like, now this is D&D, baby. But no, I introduced her to Reply All, and it's just so charming and fun. I really am enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've really been digging Do by Friday the past few weeks or so. That's Max Temkin and Merlin Mann.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
I'll have to dive in on it.
Yeah.
Is it called Nice Try? From Avery Trufelman.
No, I don't know that. I don't know that name.
99% Invisible fame. The first season was all about utopias. Yeah, nice try. That's fun.
Yeah,
it's a little bit kind of heady artsy.
Oh, I know you. I remember you talking about this. This is about people who tried to make modern utopias.
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to the Biosphere 2 episode, and
that's clever.
Yeah, it's a little hot and cold for me, but I like what they're about.
Yeah. What else have I listened to? America's Next Top Podcaster comes back soon. Here, are you still on that, Justin? You gonna be a judge?
Yeah, no, we recorded the first 2 episodes the last 2 weeks. So we are ahead. This is like a real reality show. Like, we shoot it before it airs.
You keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that I'm not the meanest anymore because Jenny Josephson's on the show now. She knows a lot more.
She knows a bit about production.
Yeah, about, I'm like, well, on my fucking successful shows that literally anybody who puts 2 weeks into a show will probably be more successful than, but she can be like, oh yeah, on Marketplace. We'll
oh man, can I tell you how much
on my legal lawyer show with federal lawyers?
I definitely have started to. I mean, I can tell I'm getting old because I'm on purpose listening to live NPR, and it is such a treat whenever Marketplace happens to be on, and I hear Molly Wood.
Oh, that's great!
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Also, we talked about the podcast Business Wars.
Yes.
I enjoyed that a lot, and in one of the episodes, in one of the ad reads, the guy David Brown casually mentions that he lives in Austin, Texas, and I'm like, oh man, I should find out. Maybe try to have lunch or something.
Yeah.
And then so I look him up, and oh wait, he's the host of the daily news program on NPR, the Texas Standard. And so now, I already started to dig David Brown stuff on Business Wars, so I just knew him as this guy doing a quirky podcast.
But now you're getting your local news from him.
I mean, he's the anchor of Texas for NPR, and every day I'm listening to it. It's
that's great.
It's pretty good. They move fast, and they figured out how to put a Texas spin on everything, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, shout out! I've talked about them a few times. What a Time to Be Alive had their 100th episode come out today. Yesterday.
What's the story with that podcast?
It's like a wacky news headlines, top 5 things that make you say the name of the podcast.
Oh, right. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, it's great.
We have that as well, where it's we describe graphic rapes, and somebody go well, that's a night attack. No.
What a time to be alive. It's a good podcast.
Hey, what about that Ronald Reagan, man? What do you think about him?
Coming up next, iPhone review.
Fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. Y'all just let me Wile E. Coyote right off that fucking cliff, and I look over at the camera and I hold up a sign that says "fuck both of you," and then I fall to my death.
Okay, yes, no, you lit the fucking match on your gigantic rocket that shot out far beyond where we could do anything about it, and then just held up a sign saying "fuck both of you" as you plummet to the fucking ground.
So anyway, you getting an iPhone 11?
I am actually.
I'm thinking about. So I have the T-Mobile.
That shit's showing up. Hold on.
Oh, did you ordered it already?
I did.
Wait,
So-
is it ordering time already?
Yeah, it was Friday.
Already passed.
So I have the T-Mobile Jump. I have their very first Jump 1.0 is what they call it, I guess, because they've changed it. They've changed the rules, which is it's a really sweet deal, right? Like, as long as the phone works, I can send it in after like 6 months and get anything else. But I've been thinking because Apple has their own upgrade program, and I think over the course of 1 year, it's like $50 cheaper to go through the Apple one, and the Apple one gives you Apple Care versus like T-Mobile cell phone insurance.
Right.
So I'm thinking about doing that, but what I'd have to do is like buy off the phone from T-Mobile, so pay off the other fucking $500 on it, and then trade that into Apple, and then pay the down payment on that and get on their plan. So like it would be moving a big ship to save a very small amount of money. But so I don't know. I've been thinking.
That's what I'm on. I'm on the Apple fuckboy plan that just gets me the new stupid spider iPhone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming here in 3 days, I guess.
Sorry, you said stupid spider iPhone?
Because it's got 3 eyes.
Yeah, 'cause it's got the little. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody, I think we already talked about it. Somebody said, got my iPhone early, and it was just an iPhone with a fidget spinner on there.
Pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm pumped for it. I mean, I do enough shit on there that, like, you know, like I take pictures and I play Hearthstone, and I play Hearthstone and I'll make
take pictures.
Yeah, I don't have Twitter on it.
Oh, you know what is just sneaked out? So they got the new Apple Arcade thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to launch on the 20th, but people who are in the iOS beta for the new iOS 13 have it. So I have access. So I've been on that Apple Arcade tip for the past like 24 hours. There's some good stuff in here.
So what you're saying is, at that point, you've seen everything.
There's really good stuff in there, from like story-based, like kind of very well-crafted little bits to like addictive phone games. There's one game on here. What is it called? Let me pull up the name because it's really good.
It's
Over the Alps.
Oh.
It's called Over the Alps, and it doesn't explain anything. It's all like you watch this little like comic vignette thing, and then there are these postcards, and you get these stamps on the side, and you can scroll through the stamps, and they're different like responses. So you're like writing postcards to your sweetie back home, and you're telling them like the different things that you do, and you don't know why you're there. You don't know what your mission is. It's on the cusp of World War II. You're some sort of secret agent, and it's a really crazy experience to go into it because it's really well made and it's gorgeous. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. The police are chasing me. There's a mechanic for that. There's some really cool stuff on there.
That, man, all the way back in the Apple IIe days, I remember there was a game called Hacker that you put in the floppy disk and you booted it up, and it just gave a command prompt.
A command prompt, yeah.
And then you like just hit any button, and it would just be all like, nope, not a valid command. And you'd let you mess up 3 times and be like, type help if you need help. And then it would give you a list, and then you'd slowly realize, oh, I am in the OS of some kind of government institution or whatever, and there appears to be a robot I can control, and then story unfolds and so on.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of cool.
The whole Apple Arcade thing is what? It's $3.99, and you just get
It's $5
a
a
bunch
month.
of games.
Yeah,
$5.
It's $5 a month. I think they have like 50 plus games right now. They're saying it's going to get up to 100 in the next few weeks, and it's like there's a ton of different types of games, like a bunch of them because now the iOS can connect to like PlayStation and Xbox controllers. So there's a bunch of these games that you can play with a controller, and some of them like you probably want to. Like there was one that they were.
Does it do that just by Bluetooth or do
Yeah,
you...
it's Bluetooth.
Okay.
Yeah. So like there's a new hot lava game. So it's like the floor is lava and you're jumping around these like domestic environments trying to avoid the actual lava on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it like kind of works for touch controls because you don't really need to go fast. But it's a thing where if you had joysticks and buttons,
You'd be able to have the precision and that comfortable, puddle jumping mechanic.
right.
Yeah.
And from hearing some other people talk about it, like the console or having the controller really makes it a fascinating experience because the graphics are really good now. The phones are super powerful. Where if you just have it on a kickstand and you're just doing the thing, then you're playing like
You pretty much have a Switch.
yeah.
You can also just put it up on Apple TV, right?
Yeah, supposedly Apple TV is getting like versions of all these games soon. So
Oh, so you could actually just play it on your Apple TV.
yeah,
Gotcha.
you actually could. I mean, I guess you could AirPlay it too, which is I think the other thing. But it's really cool. And for $5, the quality of the stuff on there. So oh my gosh,
That's great.
it's very cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't think I've heard you horny for some shit that wasn't from Japan like this in a while.
The ongoing joke with Apple TV Plus, or now Apple TV Plus, is I'm constantly, for 10 years now saying like, it's going to be great. And then when they announced the price of, free, I thought, well, logically, there's going to be at least one show that's pretty good. And logically, I will never have to pay for Apple TV and will always have it forever. So weirdly, I'm like, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I think it's actually going to be great.
I mean, yeah, like they certainly have the talent. Like I hope the shows are good. That's really
they don't
the
all have
one.
to be good. Just one. Just give me one good show. That's all I need.
The trailer that they had for the morning
That
show
C?
seems good.
Oh, the morning show.
With Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston and the other.
The only thing I hope is that, and we did our Sorkin rant last week, but it's like I just hope it's not the one thing worse than a shitty Sorkin show would be somebody doing a bad copy of a shitty Sorkin show. And like, there's just so much of like, because he's done 2 shows about television. I don't know. I hope it's good. I mean, look, that's a fucking movie cast they have there. Like, so
yeah.
Meryl Barr in the chat is talking about a rumor that I hadn't heard. We talked about the fact that Showtime passed on the King Killer Chronicles show, but I hadn't heard that Apple was interested in buying it.
I didn't hear that either.
wait, who passed?
Showtime did.
Showtime passed on that. Huh?
Yeah. But, I mean, there's plenty of other places for that to land.
Apple has been bandied about as a potential buyer.
Somebody, the place that it lands has to really love it. Because it could be a really cool series, but people really, really, really need to like understand it. Like the whole George R. R. Martin like gave Benioff and Weiss the opportunity to make Game of Thrones because they were able to guess who Jon Snow's mother was, right? Like that's like the famous story, and I feel like that's who you need to do something like King Killer Chronicles, because like it's even as a book, like it's undeniably brilliant and awesome. But that first book, like there's some like things where you'd look at it and be like, I bet you just a screenwriter would read it and be like, yeah, cool, we can take these things out and we can build these other things and we'll just make everything one thing. We'll have some big moment at the end and that'll be that.
Well, keep in mind the King Killer Chronicles series is not the book. It's in the universe, but it takes place a generation
right?
before. Yeah. So most likely we're going to get like, his parents doing the Adema Rue and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Adema who?
Adema Rue is the traveling showbiz folk.
Oh, okay. Like a little theater
Yeah.
trope.
Carney folks.
Brostis says, didn't we know LR equals J for 15 years? Yes, but not every showrunner that wanted to adapt, Game of Thrones did, which is why the people that did got to do the show.
All right. I feel like we're winding down.
Yeah, Brian's got to get up early for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Get the move going.
Gotta
Thank you, everybody, for
gut
watching.
this MRFer.
Are you gonna leave the soundproofing?
Yeah. I mean, until
It's nailed in, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
until I have a reason to move it. I guess we'll move these TVs at some point. I don't think tomorrow will be that day, though. I think we'll just that because we don't have anything to mount them on or put them up on stands.
Yeah, I guess we'll need to get.
We'd have to
stands.
lean them up against the wall or something.
Get more chairs. Just bring more chairs and do them all like this.
Yeah, I mean that works.
That one's been working for a while. It's better than.
And now we
remember
have
when it
enough
was on
space.
this desktop?
Yeah.
I'm glad we sacrificed the chair for. Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching. Final broadcast. Any final words for?
No, man. Thanks to everybody for 11 years of a lot of shenanigans in this room.
Yeah.
Good times. It was a fine send off.
Have a good night,
Indeed.
everybody.
Bye.
As we look to the stars in the sky, we ask ourselves,